So I say to all of you in this room and all who are watching by television, we need to pray for our brother and his family and warn America, leave that brother alone.
Do you want us to call for our 400,000 black men and women that are serving in the armed forces of America to come out and come home, for our fight is in America with the evil forces of racism? What we are saying to you now is that injustice brings its response. And this is why Thomas Jefferson said, "I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just and that his justice cannot sleep forever." Why are you trembling? God has already entered into the fight. The plagues are already here, and they will get worse. And as you plan to kill our people, watch what God does. America, we're tired of living like this. We're tired of suffering like this. We can build a nation of our own. So we've gone to the judge, and the judge is not some cracker sitting up in a courtroom. The judge is God himself. And we helped you get everything you got. Oh, by the way, you love the flag? The first person to die for your freedom was a black man named Crispus Attucks in Boston, Massachusetts. We've been involved in all your wars for your freedom. We ain't got it yet. We still singing, "We Shall Overcome." Well, that song is ended, and the melody ain't even lingering on. We're tired of injustice. We want to separate. We want a nation of our own, and we want a good send-off, because everything you got, we helped you to get it. You got it on our backs. For 310 years of slavery, we picking the cotton, we're baling the cotton, you using the cotton, turning it into lint and cloth, and your brothers in the North were masters of the needle trades. You sent the cotton all the way to England. England became rich. The Rothschilds became rich. All of you became rich on us. President of the United States, I suggest to you that the people that looked at him and saw his brilliance, saw that that brilliance could be used for a purpose that was not our agenda. Now, I'm closing now. The people that chose him know the time that we are living at the end of America's rule as a great power in the world. So I say to all of you in this room and all who are watching by television, we need to pray for our brother and his family and warn America, leave that brother alone.
When America tries to interfere in Africa, this video always comes to mind.
Corrupt nation in Africa, and it is. It could be the most corrupt nation in the world, Minister Farrakhan.
Oh, now, Mr. Wallace.
It is the most corrupt nation that I have ever covered. I've been there 25 years ago, and I've been there as recently as last year.
Fine. So what? 35 years old. That's what that nation is. Now, here's America, 226 years old. You love democracy, but there in Africa, you're trying to force these people into a system of government that you just have accepted. 30 years ago, black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet.
and let those of us who know our people go there and help them get out of that condition. But America should keep her mouth shut wherever there's a corrupt regime, as much hell as America has raised on the earth. No, I will not allow America or you, Mr. Wallace, to condemn them as the most corrupt nation on earth when you have spilled the blood of human beings. Has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb and killed people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Have they killed off millions of Native Americans? How dare you put yourself in that position as a moral judge? I think you should keep quiet, because with that much blood on America's hands, you have no right to speak. I will speak because I don't have that blood on my hand. Yes, there's corruption there. Yes, there's mismanagement of resources. Yes, there is abuse. There's abuse in every nation on earth, including this one. So let's not play holy to moralize on them. Let's help them.
I'm not moralizing. I'm asking a question, and I got an answer.
Why would you put it as the most corrupt regime in the world? That doesn't make sense.
Can you think of one more corrupt?
Yeah, I'm living in one. I'm living in one. Yes. You've done a hell of a thing on this earth, so you should not be the one to talk. You should be quiet when it comes to moral condemnation, in my judgment.
I'd like to read to the public Brother Gaddafi's last will and testament that came out sometime yesterday. As you know, Brother Muammar Gaddafi was offered asylum in other countries. He refused to leave Libya. And as you know, he said he would be martyred in Libya. This is where he lived, this is where he would fight, and this is where he would die. So I'd like to read this will, and I want you to listen carefully to his words. He said, "This is my will. I, Muammar bin Mudabbir bin Muhammad bin Abdussalam bin Humaid bin Abu Manya bin Humaid bin Nail al-Fusi Gaddafi, do swear that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger, peace be upon him. I pledge that I will die as a Muslim." This was written on the 17th of October. He said, "Should I be killed, I would like to be buried according to Muslim rituals in the clothes I was wearing at the time of my death, but with my body unwashed in the cemetery of Sirte next to my family and relatives. I would like that my family, especially the women and children, to be treated well after my death. The Libyan people should protect its identity, achievements, history, and the honorable image of its ancestors and heroes. The Libyan people should not relinquish the sacrifices of the free and best people. I call on my supporters to continue the resistance and fight any foreign aggressor against Libya today, tomorrow, and always. Let the free people of the world know that I could have sold out our cause in return for a secure and stable personal life. I received many offers to this effect, but chose to be at the vanguard of the confrontation as a badge of duty and honor. Even if we do not win immediately, we will provide a lesson to future generations
that choosing to protect the nation is an honor, and selling it out is the greatest betrayal that history will forever remember, however they try to portray this. This was the end of his will. He was killed in a military uniform. He wanted to be buried in the khaki clothes that he was wearing. And of course, you heard the news that they took his body out in the middle of the night. He and his son, Mutasim, who we have in a picture meeting with Hillary Clinton a year and a half ago and shaking hands with Secretary of State Clinton, which should show the world that shaking hands with your enemy and receiving a pat on the back from your enemy should never lull you to sleep that the enemy has changed. The enemy is the enemy. And when you fall asleep on that knowledge, that is when the enemy will take us out. The betrayals of his inner circle. Don't think that that is overseas. That is in our own house. And we today need to watch for those close around for signs of betrayal. Because it is written in the scriptures of the Bible that in the last days perilous times will come. And betrayal will be one of the marks of the end of the world, because people will feel that they'll be safer betraying a good cause, a just cause, to save their lives. Gaddafi died in honor, fighting for the Libya that he believed in. They would never have won if NATO was not bombing day in and day out. Brother Ali Baghdadi, that is a writer and a great Arab writer, said they bombed Libya back to the Stone Age. We were in Libya. We saw Libya being built from the ground up. We witnessed what this man did for the Libyan people. And for NATO to have bombed it like this, watch for Halliburton, watch for Bechtel, watch for the vultures of London, England, and France, and others trying to rebuild the infrastructure that they purposely destroyed, which is against international law. You went for humanitarian purposes, yet 50,000 Libyans lie dead because the West wanted access to the wealth of Libya. Now let me tell you what this man did. Did he kill people? Well, hell, did our president kill people? Talk back to me. Yes. You have made your president an assassin. That the only value that he has now is that he was responsible for the death of Osama bin Laden. He was captured without a weapon. He should have been brought to America, put on trial for the American people to see this man. But he was executed, so you will never know the real truth. Then Alaki, an American citizen who is against America's policies, a drone took him out and then came back later and killed his son. Now Muammar Gaddafi and his sons lie dead. Saddam Hussein and his sons lie dead. Well, what about your sons?
They're dying in Iraq on the basis of a lie. They're dying in Afghanistan on the basis of a lie. And now drones are in Pakistan, drones in Somalia, drones in Yemen. When will it stop? America, do you think that you can get away with this? If it's time for another commercial, then you go on and take the commercial. I'm just warming up.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Brother Minister. Brother Minister.
Think about the horror of the transatlantic slave trade. Being stuck in the holds of ships for months. Laying in our own urine and defecation. Some of us, if we got a chance, jumped overboard into the open mouths of sharks rather than come to America to be made slaves. And what they took out of Africa was the strongest in Africa. And when we got through the Middle Passage, those that died in the Middle Passage and those that survived were the strongest of the strong. We have been under the worst oppression that has been accorded to any human being in the annals of history, and here we are. You can still laugh and joke and smile and sing and dance, and when white folk look at you and see the power in your moves as you dance today, hip-hop culture spinning on your head. Everything that you do, white folk trying to learn how to do it, and you're the teacher.
That's right.
White folk don't know how to play no drums. That's Africa. That's Africa in Cuba, Africa in Central America, Africa among the native people, Africa.
Tell me something. How many of you would come and sit down and apologize to us for the transatlantic slave trade? You come now. Bring your wife and your children and tell us you're sorry for killing us, raping us, castrating us, and enslaving us, and making us chattel. Will you come and apologize? Our people can be like you. It ain't enough. See? If we tell you when you apologize it's not enough, oh, you trying to pimp us and hustle. No, reparation ain't pimping. Reparation is what we deserve for the pain and anguish that you have caused us to suffer. No, no, no. But you won't do that. You won't do justice by us. That's why judgment is on you now. That's why you can't live a day without another calamity, and they're not going to stop. It's going to get harder and harder because the God of justice has claimed us, Kyrie and Ye, and Durant, and Barkley, and Shaq. We belong to God, not you. Don't try to use us against each other. If they want to talk to any of you, we'll go with you. You bring your rabbis. You bring your scholars. And I told him, when we look at our book that we wrote, we only quoted your scholars, your historians, your rabbis. So when they ask me to condemn our book, I said, oh, if it's all lies, I certainly will condemn it. But we only quoted your people. So when you come out and call everyone that we quoted a liar and an anti-Semite, all right, then I'll condemn the book. But you're not going to do that. When I told you at the end, I want to be your friend, that's why I'm sitting in your house, eating your food, and inviting you to my house, and we prepared food for you. I would like to get along with you. And so would Ye, and so would Kyrie. But you can't abuse them because you promised them wealth and nearness to white power.
How do you feel about reparations for African Americans?
I think there's a strong moral case for reparations for Black Americans. I don't tell people that I'm going to do that because for two reasons. One is the reparations for systemic racism since the Civil War are now clearly illegal under the Harvard decision that was written by John Roberts and by judges that Trump appointed. So it's now off the table. You could do legally, it would probably pass constitutional muster to do reparations if you could directly trace your ancestry to slavery. And that would pass constitutional muster, but then you would have to get Congress to appropriate the money, and that will never happen. So I don't tell people I'm going to do things that I know I can't do or I believe I can't do. I tell people I'm going to do things that I know I can do. And if you look at my program for restoring Black communities, the education system, but also getting capital into Black neighborhoods and making sure that there's only 25 Black banks left in this country.
What?
Yep, 25 Black banks. There was hundreds of them. And they're all underfunded because the Fed does not give them money. So so if you live in a Black neighborhood, you're not going to get a home improvement loan. You're not going to get a business loan. And if you starve neighborhoods of capital, you're going to create crime waves. And that's what's happening in the Black communities. There's no equity left. They've systematically been stripped of equity. So people don't own houses, which means they can't borrow money, which means they can't start a business, which means even if they have an entrepreneurial impulse, they can't pursue it. They're not part of the American system because they do not have ownership. And that is systematic. And I could talk to you about that all night. My program is to get equity back into those communities, to get capital back into those communities, to get financial intelligence and information, in other words, accrued financial knowledge to the people so that they can start businesses. I've been doing this for 40 years. I've been on the board. My father started Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration to restore economically the poorest neighborhoods in New York, Bedford-Stuyvesant. When he died, I took his place on the board, and it is a model community development corporation. We have brought all of the stores that were boarded up in that community. You had to go 75 blocks to go shopping at a grocery store. Now we brought grocery stores to that community. The commerce in that community is exploding off the streets. We know how to do it. I know how to do it. And that is what I'm going to do as president. It's going to be one of my big focuses. And also fixing the education system so Black families have choice. We need to have charter schools where if the public school's not working for me, you go to another public school, which is a charter school. And you don't tell Black family, yeah, your school doesn't work, it's broken. Just wait there 10 years till we'll fix it. It's not good enough. We need to give them choice. And if you get kids who are well educated, who have hope for their future, that is the way to deal with crime and addiction and all these other issues that we're facing.
Hi guys, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. I'm B-Boy. Remember, if it was for the first time I come across my video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Okay guys, in today's clip it's all about Minister Farrakhan. We all know Farrakhan is being known for fighting for the right of black people, and he really loves to fight for the right of black people, including Caribbean people and African people. And he has really came out and warned President Ibrahim to be careful, because these people are really coming to him, and he has really warned some African leaders. It's really high time they demand their reparation. We all know during the early slave trade, a lot of African were taken from Africa and sold through slave to these Western countries, whereby a lot of them were being tortured during those early days, and until now they have really went through a lot. So Farouk is really coming out and telling African leaders to ask for the reparation, so that at least these Western countries can compensate them for the wrong things they did to their ancestors, the wrong thing they did to their elders, their brothers and sisters. We all know what's really happening. And one thing we really know is that the United States and France government want to arrest President Ibrahim Traoré, because they feel like he is a dictator. He's using the financial or the minerals of Burkina Faso to benefit himself for his security. But we all know what President Ibrahim Traoré is really doing in his country. He has really make sure that Burkina Faso people or Burkinabe people, they are really standing on their feet. They are really trying just to stand on their feet, to depend on themselves, because he want his country to be stable. He want his country to be like other developed other countries, because he has really worked very hard to improve the infrastructure of the country. He has really built a lot of schools. This is the reason why he has said education is free in Burkina Faso. He has really made sure that there is a lot of enough hospital in Burkina Faso. To add up on, so he has really created a lot of job opportunities to all the Burkinabe people, because things like road construction, he ain't going outside to look for people like Chinese or these white people to come and build their road. He is employing the own people of Burkina Faso, the Burkinabe people, the local people of the country. And this is a form of creating employment. And if people have employment in the country, or youth, they have employment in the country, it really reduces crime rate in the country. There will be no more crime rate, because these youth are busy constructing or building the country. So guys, we all know what President Traoré is really doing to help Burkina Faso to develop. He is the youngest president in Africa, and he has gotten a lot of attention everywhere. A lot of people are really loving his work. They are really loving what he's really doing, because he's that one kind of a president who doesn't support corruption. If he found you doing any form or have any form of corruption, he remove you in his system. And he's among the poorest president in Africa, because this really shows that this man is really doing a great job. He's really doing a job to his people, and this is the reason why he has been able to convince the Burkinabe people to love him and to trust him, because he's a true leader, he's a true captain. The things he's really doing, it's really getting a lot of attention everywhere. Maybe these Western people, they really think that maybe he will change the mind of other African leaders to wake up from their comfort zone, to stop being puppet leaders, to stop being corrupt leaders, because he will either influence them. Because you have seen Niger and Mali, they have followed the same way Burkina Faso they are doing. They told all the colonialists to pack their things and go back to their home. And this is the reason why maybe a lot of people or a lot of these Western countries, they are really feeling jealousy of President Ibrahim Traoré, and maybe they can do anything bad to him. But we are really praying to God to protect President Ibrahim Traoré, because we really need him. We want him to show other African leaders that there is still other good leaders outside there. There is still no other corruption leaders, that they are corruption free outside there. There is no greedy leaders outside there, because yeah, we all know corruption is everywhere. Corruption is not a new thing to any government in any country, but President Ibrahim Traoré has really made an effort to make sure that these things ain't happening in his country. The way he's running his system, the way he's organizing people to do work, the way Burkina Faso, they are talking about him, the way they really love to talk about President Ibrahim Traoré, and they have come out and declared that they don't need other presidents to be elected. They just want President Ibrahim Traoré to lead them all the way. So guys, let us join our hands together, and black people, Caribbean people, let us unite together as one, so at least we can be able to do some things that can be able to benefit us. So guys, if it was for the first time you come across my video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for your time. May God bless you. One love.